This is the DWARF Mini. The DWARF Mini might be one of the most interesting pieces of technology that I have had a chance to play with here on the channel. In keeping with my recent trend on this channel of starting with the conclusion, if you have never taken any advanced pictures of any deep sky or sky objects, but are interested in it because maybe you've gotten a couple of really cool images of like the moon on your phone, you want one of these. This device here has a lot of built-in features and safety that'll keep you from doing anything too silly to ruin it. And it's no bigger than an Xbox controller. Maybe a little bit bigger if we're being honest. It'll give you 4 hours of battery life, which for most people, it's pretty cold when it gets dark outside. 4 hours is probably as long as you'll want to be out there. And actually, you don't even have to be out there while it's imaging. It's entirely on Wi-Fi, so you can be inside the house while this tiny little guy captures really, really cool images of the night sky that you don't have to do a ton of processing to. You can basically post them directly to your Facebook or your Instagram. The DWARF Mini and smart telescopes like it are probably your best way in without spending a ton of money on equipment that you're not really sure you're gonna want. Additionally, it's got some really cool features like the solar filter lets you take pictures of the sun. It's got a telephoto, which is the zoomed in lens, and then it's got a wide angle lens. So you can do things like Milky Way shots, which you would normally need a really expensive lens attached to like a DSLR on a tracking tripod to get really cool images like that. You can do that all with this one unit. And for those of us that have been in the hobby for a little bit, I've been doing astrophotography for about two and a bit years now. Something like this can still provide us with a ton of value for a couple of reasons. One, we can use it when we're getting on an airplane and going to a faraway place and we don't want to bring a full rig with us. That happens. Two, getting this thing out and setting it up is really, really quick. So there's some nights where you might not necessarily want to bring out the entire set of equipment if you don't have like a more permanent observatory. And this little device makes that super easy. Three, if you have children or young ones that want to sort of get involved with you in your astrophotography, but you maybe don't want them touching your very nice piece of equipment, this allows them to get involved without having to worry about them breaking something very expensive. And it's got a couple really cool features that I love when it comes to its ability to withstand people using it that maybe don't have a ton of astrophotography experience. One of those, and this is going to stick with me forever, is the fact that these arms are on clutches. So you can actually manually move them and you're not breaking anything. The same goes with the leg down here. So to get started, what do you actually get when you buy one of these DWARF Minis? Let's see what's in that box. Wow, this box is tiny. I can't even imagine the scope that's inside of it. All right, let's put this away. What else did they send me? That's the DWARF Lab tripod. Honestly, I was looking at their website and this tripod looks super cool. Oh, cool. Comes with a very cool little bag. I gotta keep all the boxes and everything because I do have to send this back to DWARF Lab once I'm done with my reviews. Whoa, this looks really nice. It's got a hook on the bottom so you can hang some weights for stability. Extendable light. Wow, this is a really nice tripod. You can like adjust where your little feet are or where this arm goes. And this is how you do your tilt so that it can be like totally, wow. It even has angle markings on it. That's pretty nice. Wow, this feels like a really nice tripod. Okay, I'm gonna set that aside. It's time to unbox the DWARF Mini. Got a user's manual. Pretty simple stuff, some QR codes so that you can download the app. And it's in a couple different languages. That's nice to see. We've got a DWARF Lab cleaning cloth. That's good. Look at this thing. I'm going to put my iPhone on the table for scale. This is iPhone like 13. It's like an iPhone 13. Let's see, we've got the unit, which is only slightly bigger than my iPhone. We've got a really nice USB-C cable. And we've got, what's here? What is this? Oh, that's a solar filter. Wow, it looks like it's molded. That's really cool. And I think that's all of it. Yep, that's all of it. All right, let's turn this thing on. Wow, look at this. Again, here's a phone for scale. Wow. Oh, it's already waking up. Hello. All right, let's see how big this thing is. Got my calipers. It is about 58 millimeters wide at its widest this way by just under 100 millimeters this way and about 170 millimeters this way. Let's see how much this thing weighs. 1 pound, 14 ounces, or 848 grams. Okay, it's really cool that this comes with a solar filter. On some of my other telescopes, that can be $100 or $200 accessory that I have to buy. You can build your own, but the fact that this comes with one and it's magnetically attachable lets you take really cool pictures like this. I've had a chance to use this so far for one night under a real night sky, and the images that it can take, as you saw, were pretty impressive. This is compared to my sort of more professional amateur astrophotography rig. That rig has an SV-Bony SV555, which is a great entry-level apochromatic astrograph, which is just a fancy term for a cool telescope that is meant for pictures, not necessarily putting your eye up to, and a small travel strain wave mount, which is all the rage right now. I paired it with a planetary camera, which is one of the least expensive ways to get into deep sky astrophotography. And I drag race it with this. I handed this to my fiance, Christy, in this upcoming segment you're gonna see. And I said, look, we're gonna race from all of our equipment in the bags to polar alignment, which just means lining your telescope up with the North Pole and taking the first 10 images of the Pleiades, or M45. And the first to 10 images wins. And I'm not sure you'll be able to guess which one was the winner. So here's the rules. Both systems must run in equatorial mode. And so that means that she's got to do a polar alignment on the Dwarf, which I actually don't know how to do. And I've got to do a polar alignment on my T-Seq 11, but I've done that countless times, so I should be okay in the ASI Air app. We're both going for the same target, which is Pleiades, or M45. It's just above us. It's like just peeking out of this massive tree behind us, you can see here. So we should be okay by the time we get set up. And the imaging rules are, we're gonna do 30-second exposures only, and the finish line is gonna be who can get to 10 stacked frames first. I'm hoping that that'll show us, like, not just, you know, how long does setup time take, but if you really mess up your setup and you go too fast, it's gonna take you forever to get to 10 stacked frames. So we'll see. It's kind of an interesting little challenge. So we're gonna be tracking sort of 3 split times. The first to finish the polar alignment. I am really curious to see how long it's gonna take on the Dwarf. The first to the first frame, and then the first to the sort of 10 stacked final image. I think we'll actually just let them run for a while, because I am kind of curious to see what they can pull out of the Pleiades in an urban environment. I will not be helping you unless something is really broken and you actually need help. So feel free to call out, but just, you know, you'll just try and figure it out. You watch the video or two. I think you'll be mostly fine.
All right, I'm ready.
Ready, set, go. I don't need the app yet. Oh, Ripley, the dog is freaking out because we just said ready, set, go, and that's usually means something's gonna happen with her. Configuring the Dwarf and setting it up in EQ mode is pretty simple. you get your tripod out and you extend the legs out as far as you need to. You'll see in this one, we actually don't extend them far enough and we go back and redo it. The tripod comes with an Arca Swiss plate that you bolt to the bottom of your DWARF Mini with the thumb screw that's included. Now, once you've done that, you have to then point the telescope at the North Pole. So with the DWARF Lab label facing you, you use the arm attached to the tripod to tilt it over so that essentially the top of the DWARF 3 is pointing at the North Star if you're in the northern hemisphere. And you'll see we go through the process in the app here. So I'll put up on the screen, the dwarf will be on the left, upper left. So to get to the EQ mode, you click the parameter button and then you click EQ mode. You have to be in the deep sky or solar system area to get to this menu. From here, it reminds you that you should probably do a focus first so that it can do what it calls plate solving. Plate solving is just where it takes a picture of the night sky and figures out where it's pointing. So we clicked focus and you point the telescope at a clear part of the sky, so not pointing at too many trees. And you click focus AF, which is autofocus. And the machine will run through a routine where it tries many different focus points to get the focus as sharp as it can. Once you've done that, as you can see here, this is the tilting that we were talking about. So you rotate it, and you can see I'm doing that here, and you tilt it away, and I actually did it backwards. So if you're in the northern hemisphere and you're looking at the dwarf, you want the side with the lights to your left. You should be looking north and tip it over. It recommends you use your phone compass and things like that, but it probably isn't necessary. As long as you get it close, the parameters settings here will guide you on getting it even closer. Now that you've successfully completed the alignment, you click the mode button in the top right of the app, and then you click Deep Sky and go to Atlas. From here, you can pick whichever target you want, and M45 was one of the highlighted targets for the evening, and hit go. It's now heading over there and doing its entire calibration that it needs to do to make sure that you get the highest quality images that you can. She's now going through and making sure that the settings are what she wants. So you can set the shutter to how long do you want the shutter to be open. We want 30 seconds for this experiment. And then everything else, usually you would just set it to automatic. And she'll click on the shoot button and it'll just start grabbing images. It does go through a slight configuration process. So the first thing it does is it'll do an autofocus once you've actually begun the whole process. And you'll see that here. And it's just trying to make sure that it's as sharp as it possibly can be. She's going through and making sure that the settings are matching what we want to do for this experiment. And she's clicking initialize again. I think she didn't have to do it this second time. I actually think the first time was going to run okay. But now once you're in this mode, you can see in the top how many images you've got in this red bubble. That's the 2 out of 30. And then how many of those images it was able to stack, meaning that the star shapes look good and everything looks good. So that's what you can see in that UI, and it'll just keep going until it's done. What are you doing?
I just wanted to look at
What it's done so far?
Yeah.
That's really good. Like you can already see all the nebulosity around the bigger stars. That's impressive.
Okay, but I did go back to the album and I'm worried I stopped it.
I did hear it click.
Okay.
I don't know what that was about.
Right.
It's still going though.
It's still going, yes.
Yeah. All right, so quick debrief while we're waiting for this thing to finish. It should be finished in about 6 minutes. What was the most confusing step?
Really just getting started. Because like I said, I did watch a video, but it was the other camera.
Yeah. I think...
But honestly, it was, not even that confusing. It was just, I wasn't as prepared as I had hoped to be.
How was doing EQ mode? How was doing like a polar alignment?
Fine. Relatively easy, but I also know, I can see where I need to be. So, I think it was pretty straightforward, and in the app, the adjustments that I needed to make were straightforward and easy to do once I got it in the right position and, the handle on the right side and things like that. So,
yeah, and now you know for next time, okay, the handle should be this way and you got to rotate it roughly that way.
Right, yeah.
That makes sense. Cool. If you were alone, in the dark, would you be able to get it all set up and running again?
I think so, yeah.
Nice. Good. I don't know that I actually helped all that much, so that's good. Most of your experience doing astrophotography has been with the C-Star. You've taken some really cool images with that. Just like, how does this compare to that hardware and software?
It's very similar. Okay. I do think as I'm getting used to it, or just being able to play with it a little bit more, one of the biggest things about the C-Star is I didn't want to touch it. Like it moves on its own, it opens and closes on its own.
Yeah.
This one doesn't do that, and so that's just been kind of a mental shift for me.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to actually, like, there's no open button. Right?
Exactly,
so
yeah.
You grab it, you like rotate it.
Yes. So that felt a little bit weird, but knowing that I can do that and it's okay and I'm not going to break it, has been, yeah, it's been fine. It's real tiny. I really like that everything fits in the bag really well.
Yeah.
The C-Star case is a little bit big.
Yeah, so we have an S50. So we don't have the S30. The S30 is a little bit smaller. It's one of the newer ones they come out with. We've got the S50, the older one, but it does fit nicely in the case, but it is kind of a big case. So cool. And what about the software?
Seems great.
Okay.
It's very simple. I think as long as I get used to where the controls are and stuff like that, but just like anything else, takes a little bit to figure it out. But it seems to be working as I expect it to, and
that's about all you can ask.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Well, thanks for participating in this part of the experiment with me. I think we'll go inside and we can put these away, and then I'll do some stuff from the shed where I'll put both images up and we'll take a look at them and compare them to each other. Time for my honest first week conclusion. If you're coming from a cell phone camera and you want to get into astrophotography, I genuinely don't know if there are any cheaper or better ways to do it than something like the DWARF Mini, or the DWARF Mini specifically. It's small, it's approachable, and you can get real results without having to buy a laptop, a mount, a camera, a telescope, a guide scope, a guide camera, and then figuring out how all of those things talk to each other. Now, don't get me wrong, if you're interested in that as like part of the hobby, which I am, I find it fascinating, and I love that challenge every time I get to do it. Now, the drag race was interesting. The Dwarf actually finished its polar alignment first, which did surprise me because Christy had never done a polar alignment on anything, much less the Dwarf Mini. And my little beginner rig is something that I've used countless times, and I've done polar alignments a lot, but you know how fiddly they can be. The little beginner rig did get to its first image and its 10 frame stack faster, but honestly, it should have rejected all of those frames, which proved a big point. The real rig is not just that, more rig, more equipment is a better image. If your tracking isn't solid, or if you're not guiding correctly, you can absolutely lose on star shapes versus something like a Dwarf Mini. The other thing is, I didn't take calibration frames that night. So that whole race result was more about how long it takes to do setup than about total image quality, because I should have done calibration frames. That's something that the Dwarf does automatically every time you start an imaging session. And those calibration frames are available to you if you want to do your own processing in something like PixInsight or Cyril after the fact. Here's what's next. Part 2 is where we do sort of Deep SkyLab properly. We're going to have 3 targets. We're going to do 1 hour on each, 30-second exposures, and we're going to do that here in the suburbs and from a dark sky site just outside Joshua Tree. I'm probably there right now as you're watching this video. And yes, because of what happened in the race, the real rig is getting a guider for part 2. I don't consider that moving the goalposts. That's, the real rig operating how people actually run it when they care about star quality. Like, you're going to have to do it. And a lot of the times, that's part of amateur astrophotography, is buying that next correct piece of equipment to get a little bit closer. And I gotta say that the Dwarf Mini is just fun. Here's some of my favorite shots that I've been able to take over this past week that I've been using it. And this is, again, from Bortle 6, Bortle 7 skies. It's been clear, but the sky conditions haven't been great. The atmosphere has actually been super turbulent. And the Dwarf Mini just worked. It's nice because you can just take it outside and get something really cool really quickly, or leave it there if you want to get something for over an hour like some of these. and you're not feeling like you're doing IT tech support at midnight because, you know, some USB cable decided it wanted to bite the dust that night. Before I wrap up, some quick accessories. I found a pouch, this pouch, that fits the DWARF Mini and its tripod and the solar filter and a USB cable and a little charger perfectly. I will have a link to this down in the description. It is soft-sided, which I kind of like because it has a little bit of give to it, but it is water resistant and has like that coating on it. So, you know, if you're traveling and you manage to leave this outside and it sprinkles, your DWARF Mini is probably going to be okay. And I'll have a link to that down in the description below. That is an Amazon affiliate link. I do get a little bit of revenue every time you guys buy one of those, but it's nice because they're inexpensive and I can actually see myself using this for a couple of other things as well. I bet my filter wheels will fit in here perfectly for when I want to travel with like my big rig. Then there's this. This tripod is a bigger deal than I realized at first. With the right tripod, you can do that equatorial mode adjusting without needing to buy what we call a wedge. A wedge is simply a piece of equipment that goes from your tripod to your mount or the DWARF, and you can adjust the angle and rotate it. Well, this tripod has the wedge built into it using these adjusters that you can rotate and tilt the head on. Wedges aren't cheap. Honestly, even the least expensive budget wedges that you can find on like Amazon or AliExpress are going to cost you about the same as this whole tripod and wedge setup that you can buy directly from DWARF Labs. If this video convinced you to pick up a DWARF Mini, my affiliate link is down in the description below. Full disclosure, if enough of you pick up a DWARF Mini through that link, I get to keep this unit. And after my first week with it, I actually hope that happens because I really like it. And I'm super excited about what's coming next in the video series. So part 2 is coming next, and that's where the numbers actually decide everything. It's not about feelings and things like that. So drop any questions that you want answered in part 2 down in the comments, and I'll sort of build those into the deep dive. I might even dive into some of the cool processing tools that the DWARF has built in to do things like denoise and sort of this really nice like upscaling thing I think it'll do. I don't know. We'll talk about all of those built-in tools that are built into the app. And we might even take some of the images off the DWARF and do some post-processing in a more advanced workflow through Cyril. For Deep SkyLabs, this has been the DWARF Mini Part 1 review. Thank you so much for watching. My name's Francisco, and clear skies.